Welcome to another episode of Whether or Not. Today we have information on the heat and its source, the sun. Also about a different type of lion rather than a Nittany lion that's affecting some coastal states. And Tom lets us know about a new transportation system here in State College. Travis joins us in the studio with his forecast for the weekend and beyond. Whether or Not starts right now. Hello and welcome to Whether or Not. I'm your host, Christy Shields.
And I'm your forecaster, Travis Patterson.
Travis, we've seen a lot of hot days. We finally reached that 90-degree mark here in July. Do you think that will be continuing throughout the rest of the month?
You're right. We did have a heat wave here in the Northeast. Southeastern Pennsylvania, we're climbing into the mid-90s, and those heat indices were approaching the triple digits, so very dangerous conditions out there. We do have another hot day ahead on Friday with temperatures back in the low 90s. But a bit of relief. It's a little trade-off. We have some strong storms to deal with on Saturday, but relief towards the end of this weekend.
Well, that'll be nice. I know a lot of people probably want some of that relief here from this hot, humid weather. But for now, it's time for Nature in the News. Recently, we have been experiencing hot, humid days throughout most of the state. Did you know living in a city can make that worse? Cities across the nation can see temperatures around 5 degrees higher during the day and even more at night. This is compared to more rustic areas. Cities have more surfaces that the sun's radiation can be absorbed into rather than reflected, creating heat to be released slowly. Some absorbers of radiation include asphalt and concrete. Also, these areas lack surface moisture due to not having a lot of grass and green spaces. When this situation occurs, the cities can be called urban heat islands. This effect is amplified during heat waves during the summer when high-pressure systems can slow wind speeds and put more moisture into the air. Cities are becoming more vulnerable to this urban heat island stress, considering heat waves have been doubling in frequency over the 20th century. And around 50% of the world's population is living in urban areas.
Lionfish, which are aggressive fish with venomous spines, have taken over parts of the Atlantic Ocean near Florida and into the Caribbean. These fish are native to the Indian Ocean and most likely spread into the Atlantic from pet trade. In the Indian and Pacific Ocean, there are species that can cut lionfish populations down. However, in the Atlantic Ocean, they are not. This is causing a huge expansion of the lionfish population in these waters. Not only are they increasing rapidly in the Atlantic Ocean, they are hurting marine life populations that are native to the waters. This is hurting many efforts to help native marine life and species to grow. Divers are now encouraged to catch and eat as many lionfish as possible to help deter the population growth. Many restaurants in the Florida Keys are now offering lionfish on their menus. This is helping to slow down this invasive species. However, they can live many feet deep in the ocean, especially around shipwrecks, which is making it difficult for recreational divers to catch.
As ice shelves melt in Antarctica, more species are being able to grow and flourish, especially the sponges. One area of study that has been visited is a shelf that broke off in 1995. That was known as the Larsen A ice shelf. Scientists have visited this region in the past few years to see if life has changed where this ice used to be. They believe that when the ice was not there, many life forms could have not lived there. Now that the ice is gone, they wanted to see what species were flourishing. In 2007, aboard the Polystern research vessel, using a remotely operated vehicle, scientists saw deep-sea invertebrates as well as an occasional small glass sponge. The same team went back in 2011, and what they saw was surprising. The glass small sponge had taken over and was much larger than what had been seen 4 years prior. Scientists believe king crabs could soon invade this area and quickly hurt this new sponge population.
The eighth planet away from the sun has a newly discovered moon in its orbit. Mark Showalter from the SETI Institute was studying Neptune's rings when he made the discovery. As he was looking at the segments of rings, he saw a white dot about 65,400 miles from the planet. He decided to track the dot's movement and had been taking pictures from 2004 all the way until 2009. NASA announced Showalter's discovery on July 15, 2013 as Neptune's 14th moon. The moon was named S2004N1 and is about 12 miles in diameter.
Not only do scientists try to predict weather here on Earth, but they also monitor the sun's weather. Every 11 years, the sun goes through a solar cycle. Cycle 24 started in 2011, and this year was supposed to mark a maximum in solar activity. During a maximum, sunspots are to occur more frequently, and in a minimum, sunspots are to decrease. So far, during 2013, which is the peak for this cycle, sunspots have been fewer than peaks in the past cycles. This is normal, says scientist Juliana De Toma from the High Altitude Observatory in Colorado. These calm peak seasons have the same brightness as ones that are more disturbed. Sunspots are the cause of solar flares, which send charged particles toward Earth, which cause auroras, satellite damage, and power surges. This week, maximum is helping scientists understand the sun better and help them make better predictions of what the sun will do in the future. This has been the weakest cycle in the past 100 years, and it is being predicted cycle 25 will be even less active than this one. Travis, the sun hasn't been very active, but will we see active weather here on Earth?
Well, Christy, we have one more sunny day, and that's on Friday, but that will lead to some active weather for us here all across the state on Saturday, with a potential for some strong storms, gusty wind, even a little bit of hail strewn across the state. But starting out on Friday, the storm system will be situated in Ontario, a cold front dropping across the Great Lakes, meaning we will stay in a southwesterly flow ahead of the front, leading to another hot, hazy, humid day on Friday. But as we progress into Saturday, that's where the action is. The front will move across the state Saturday afternoon, and it will spark off some thunderstorms in the early afternoon hours. Continuing into the evening, these showers will move across the state in a west to eastward fashion, and there still remains potential for some very strong storms out there, even some hail and some strong gusty winds at times. So do pay attention to the weather this weekend if you're headed out about across the state. But this front will move across the state on Sunday, and we will be left with some much drier conditions. Let's track that on the humidity tracker, starting on Friday morning with some much warm orange colors here, meaning that the air outside just oppressive and really uncomfortable. But if we put this into motion, it doesn't take a trained eye to see where that front is. Moves across the state on Saturday, and on Sunday afternoon, we're left right around lunchtime with some light blues and light greens. So much better day and a little bit of relief on our Sunday, and that continues for the first part of the week next week. But breaking it down this weekend, a hot, hazy, humid day, the 3 H's to get through on Friday with the temperature around 93 degrees with mostly sunny skies, and then the clouds start to strewn in Friday night, and it stays sultry, really not much relief overnight Friday, only dropping down to around 70 degrees Friday night. Then Saturday, that's when the action is. We'll warm up to around 87 degrees, but we do have a strong potential for some thunderstorms. So if you are headed out anywhere across Pennsylvania, do keep your eye on the radar, as those storms will tend to bubble up Saturday afternoon. Then the showers will end Saturday night, and we'll be left with partly cloudy skies and a low of around 66 degrees. Then on Sunday, look for a little bit of relief, less humid conditions out there. High right around average at 81 degrees with mostly sunny skies. Tom is up next with a feature on how to get around Center County.
You've seen them downtown, you've seen them on campus, you've seen them all around. This week, Whether or Not checks out the Vamos Lion Chariot. Whether or Not ran into Todd Miner, the owner and operator of Vamos Lion Chariot, and asked him the simple question of how he got this entertaining idea.
A few years ago when I was out in California vacationing and visiting family, and in San Diego I saw these carts, these rickshaws running around town and also on the beach, and there was a girl on one, and she'd asked if were interested in a ride, and I'd not seen these before. I said yes, and immediately thought, well, this is so neat. This is sustainable green transportation. Why don't we have this here in Happy Valley?
Since coming to State College in April of 2012, the Vamos Lion Chariot or bike taxi service has become incredibly popular and nearly a staple in downtown State College and on the Penn State University campus. The service started off with just one pedicab, or bike taxi, or lion chariot as you may call it, and is now extended to 4 pedicabs. Now we asked Todd about when the best time we may be able to check out and ride one of these fine lion chariots is.
Typically our hours are during the evenings on a Thursday and Friday and Saturday night during the school year. Maybe hit the road around 9 p.m. out to about 2 in the morning. A lot of folks out and about then. But we also are out at other times of the day for these special events. One thing I didn't mention is we do festivals. We'll be doing one later this summer over in Center Hall, and that's a full weekend organic farm festival. So those hours are variable, and it's just dependent on the need. So anyone who's interested in these events can just give us a call.
Now, although each lion chariot comes with a canopy and with that some protection from rain, snow, and the general elements around State College, the pedicab is not an all-terrain, all-weather vehicle.
I've been caught in a thunderstorm against my better judgment. I was on campus. Someone had requested to go downtown. I turned to the left and I saw these billowing cumulus clouds approaching ominously, and against, like I said, my better judgment, I took them downtown. No problems downtown, got them there safely, but on the return, it just poured and the winds blew.
Todd's experience is not uncommon for this time of the year in central Pennsylvania, as afternoon thunderstorms can be harder to avoid, but even harder to predict. So while on the road, we asked Todd how he keeps up to date with the weather.
Luckily, I have a degree in meteorology from Penn State, so that greatly improves my chances of being able to predict the weather. And one thing that's great these days is we have smartphones which allow us to keep track of pending weather, so I'll often be looking at the radar during the summertime when we have these pop-up thunderstorms so we can best avoid those. So we really have the technology to have our weather station on the run, and that's sort of what I do.
So next time you see the Vamos Lion Chariot in downtown or on the streets of State College, make sure to hop on and get a ride. But now let's turn to Travis Patterson with this week's forecast.
Well, thank you, Tom. One last look at your weekend forecast. We have one more hot, hazy, humid day to get through, and that is on Friday. We'll bubble on up to 93 degrees here in Happy Valley, and not really much relief overnight with a low of around 70 degrees. But into Saturday, that's when the major change to the weather pattern happens. We'll be dealing with some strong afternoon thunderstorms, a good soaking of rain for much of the state, then a bit of relief as we look to the day on Sunday with temperatures just around average for this time of year. But that relief continues into the week ahead, a much more comfortable week, and we're still in that showery regime. However, still could see some showers and thunderstorms on Wednesday and Thursday, but not as sticky as last week.
Well, Travis, it's nice to see some relief in your forecast.
Yeah, we could see temperatures starting out below average beginning of next week, but summer is not over, so that heat could be back anytime soon.
Which brings us to our Weather Whiz quiz, which states, if a car is left out in the sun for 10 minutes on a 90-degree day, how hot could the interior of the car get? A, 90 degrees, B, 98.6 degrees, C, 109 degrees, or D, 120 degrees. So the answer is C, 109 degrees. And keep in mind, it doesn't matter the size or make of the car or color, because the sun's radiation will still go through your windows. And if you have a black interior, it could even be worse.
That's right. The temperature could climb to a very dangerous level rather quickly, and already we've seen a countless number of kids lose their lives being trapped in the heat of cars.
Yes, so keep this in mind. We do see relief, but however, it could still become hotter this summer if you're traveling, so just keep this in mind when you have a car out and about. For Whether or Not, I'm your host, Christy Shields.
And I'm your forecaster, Travis Patterson. We'll see you next time.